Spirit of God in the clear running water, blowing to greatness the trees on the hill. Blow, blow, blow till I be but breath of the Spirit flowing in me.
Hello, welcome to Spirit of Life. My name is Geraldine Lee, your host, and our guest is Jason Hummel. He's an actor in the musical Call of Guadalupe. Welcome back.
Thanks, Geraldine. Thanks for having me.
Yep, it's great to have you, and I'd love to hear about how you came to a stronger faith in Jesus.
Yeah, so as I said before, that music was a strong part to play. But through these musicals and acting and being a dad and just life events that have happened, and my faith in God has increased, and not doing things off my own will and what I want. Try to be more, what does Jesus want for this, and just take a breather and have a think about what to do next.
Yeah, so rather than, I suppose it's kind of like what young people want to do. They want to do their own thing, isn't it?
Yeah,
and they
that's
tend to, our society is like, you've got a right to be focused on yourself and be self-centered.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so how have you at one stage veered off and then realized that following God is better for you?
Yeah, I have. I used to work in such a not a good industry, and I stopped going to church. I stopped playing music. I was also in a very toxic relationship when I was younger, and that pulled me away from what I love and what I believe. And it was a very controlling relationship. And Sonny, John Dyker, who's part of Lifted, the band I'm in, he kept ringing me. He's like, "You're going to come back?" And I'd say, "Oh, soon, next time, soon." And later on, when I did come back, I had a thought about that, and it was almost like it was Jesus telling me, "Come back, I'm here, I'm here, I've never left you, and it's it feels true, yeah."
Yeah, so so John was being used by God to say, "Come back," and that His love was always there for you.
Yeah, and John and his wife Sharon is my daughter's godparents. So yeah, it's fitting, yeah.
Yeah, so God used people to show His love to you.
Yeah, and one of those people is Father David Lemuelu, who's over in Indonesia. So I met him through the Melbourne Passion Play and then through Call of Guadalupe. And I didn't have very many people to look up to. So I had John, I had my dad, I had another friend called Thierry, but that was about it at the time. And David really showed me what it's like to have compassion and love, in your heart, and I just feel like that, God sent him for me, so and through the play, Saint Juan Diego is my confirmation name, which David played that role when I came across, and yeah,
and I think you've always shown yourself to be open to look up to people, to be humble enough to learn from others. I think that's been a trait that you've had. Yes.
So I never really had friends around my age. I had one friend, one very close friend who was my age, but people like John and Joey and David and Mark and all these people who are a little bit older, a little bit mature in their faith, really showed me the way, that that, you know, sometimes I do things a bit differently, but, you know, show me the way that God loves me, you know. And I feel like the Lord's placed certain people in my life, you know. Yeah.
So what would you say to a young person who hasn't got mentors? What would you advise them to do?
Well, I would first advise them to seek out a place of worship, you know, at a church, or, you know, whether it's Christian or Catholic, you know. Maybe even seek out family members who could be Catholic or Christian that they could look up to, and just be vulnerable with those people.
Yeah, because I think you pursued them and rang them and said what you wanted to get together, didn't you? That?
Yeah, I was an annoying little child. You know, the first time I met Joey and David, I grabbed them around their arms, and these guys are grown adults. Yeah. And I'm a child. I'm 12 years old. Right. You know, and I got them in my arms, and I walk up to my mum and I said, "Mum, these are my brothers." You know, and
so you claim them.
Yeah, I claim them. But I feel like the Lord allowed that to happen, you know, because I'm still close to everyone.
Yes, I think you are humble enough to ask, and you're humble enough to make yourself vulnerable to say, "I would like you, you know, I would like to be your friend." Yeah,
that's right. Yeah.
And they responded.
Yeah, and I'm so glad they did. Yeah.
Yeah, I suppose they could have rejected you, but they saw, you know, who you are, and they loved you, and they also drew out your potential.
Yeah.
And what great potential. You got 2 children.
Yeah, I've got 2 kids now, Lucy and Elijah, and they're going to be up on stage next to me in the play, so I'm going to be so proud.
Yes, and you do not only singing, you also do movement. You help with the choreography too. Yeah.
So for some reason, I have a good memory of what the choreography is. Even after all these years. But it's great. It's good fun. So and I enjoy it.
Yeah. No, it's great to have someone who's been in the musical for like 15 years.
Yeah. And like one of the things that I'm hoping to be, like, we've got St. Joseph's Chelsea children involved, and that's where Vance is. He's an assistant director there.
On that note, we might go for a break.
Okay.
Nice. You've been watching Spirit of Life. We'll be back after the break. Welcome back to Spirit of Life. My name is Geraldine Lee, your host, and our guest is Jason Hummel. He's an actor in the musical Call of Guadalupe. Welcome back, Jason.
Thank you.
You were talking about how you gain a lot of benefit from being mentored by older actors, older singers, and people in the music band, and how that blessed you. Yeah. And you were saying that maybe you hope to do the same for others.
Yeah, so we've got a cast of about maybe 20 children down at Chelsea, at St. Joseph's, where Vance is there, and I'm assistant director with him, and you, of course. And I'm hoping that I can be a mentor for them, you know. They can look up to me and go, "Oh, wow, you know, like, I want to be like this person," you know. And hopefully I can do that for them, you know, which is my hope.
Yeah, because you've had your struggles in life, haven't you?
Yeah, so I grew up with a learning disability, struggling through school and life, and, you know, sometimes even adulthood. And this play really helped me to come out of my shell and experience some new things.
Yes, because sometimes our universities or our schooling don't give people a chance to really excel, because there's so much focus on marks and assignments, whereas some people learn best by just doing. besides you, I know a couple of others who had dyslexia or learning disability who found that they had management skills, and one of them's like a director of a company, you know, and yet they never went to university.
Yeah.
And you've shown yourself to be very capable, even though you haven't gone to like a degree in university, by just your presence in the musical and by you trying out different roles and helping backstage, helping front stage, everywhere.
I like to serve, so I like to help where I can, and it gives me satisfaction, you know, to see others, you know, have the rewards of, I guess, of that help. You know, not to sound that, you know, not to say that I'm helping because I want this, but just, you know, because I want to see others grow, you know. I see others flourish, you know, like your dad gave me that opportunity to flourish, you know, and to grow, and Yeah,
he could see you as a Diego so many years later.
Oh, yeah. When I was a young boy, he said, you know, you're going to be Diego one day, and now I am at 27. You know,
that's
nearly
fantastic.
27, so.
How many years did you wait?
Nearly 12 maybe.
No, but that's good. It was worth the wait.
Yeah, definitely worth the wait. Yeah.
Yes, and you were saying that there were times where in the past you had toxic relationships, but you found your faith helped you to forgive them? Yeah, so
the only way I can move on in life is forgive the person, you know, because there's two of us in a relationship, you know, and, you know, the Lord speaks about forgiveness, and doesn't necessarily mean, you know, we're best friends again, but just to be able to move on in life, you know. You don't want to hold on to bitterness and anger and frustration, you know, towards a person for the rest of your life, because it can eat away at you. Yeah, and you said earlier on that when you sing and praise and focus on God, it really helps you to deal with any frustration. It certainly does, yeah. So, you know, and being a parent, you know, like, that can be frustrating in itself, you know. You know, you can be 2 hours sleep or no sleep, or, you know, and you just, I find best to be able to centre myself when I've got worship on, you know, when I'm cooking, cleaning, worship goes on, you know, and it shifts the focus in the room. It's one of real sacrifice, you know, because I know that when you were younger, you were there was a stage where you went through some troubles, but you went from the troubled child to suddenly being a great parent. Thanks, Geraldine. and that's really because of the people who were around me. They didn't give up on me, you know, and you know, those guys who I mentioned earlier. John, who kept calling you. So you would say, no, I'm busy, and then he would ring again with you. And so at one stage, when I was in a relationship, I stepped away from the music ministry, and I was working, and John would ring me and say, you coming back? And I'd say, oh, not yet, you know, I'm busy, you know, and then 3 weeks later, you coming back, you know. So he persisted. He persisted, and, you know, thinking back of it, it's like, yeah, that was the Lord, you know, because the Lord reminded me that He's still here, He's still there for me, and, you know. He never gives up. Yeah, He never gives up on you. You felt that someone believed in you. Yeah, and He leaves the 99 to find that one. So. Yes, you're talking about the shepherd leaving the 99 sheep to save the one and put that wounded one on the shoulders of Jesus. Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, that's powerful, isn't it? That God loves us so much that He'll leave the others and go and find the one that's lost. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And what about your relationship with your parents? Do they have faith too? Yeah, they do. They have big faith. One of the things that I always look up to is my parents' wedding. Who they actually got married at St. Joseph's in Chelsea as well. Wow. And, you know, the first time my dad knew that Jesus was there was when he saw my mum coming down the aisle, and, you know, he looked up and he said, you're my witness. You know, Jesus, you are my witness to this marriage, you know. And their faith, you know, they couldn't have children for 10 years.
Wow.
And my dad would say there's no way that my wife could not have children. And here we are, you know, 4 kids, you know, plenty of grandchildren, you know. It's really God's timing and definitely God's hand in that.
That's a miracle. On that note, we'll go for a break. You've been watching Spirit of Life. Stay with us and we'll be back after the break. Welcome back to Spirit of Life. My name is Geraldine Lee, your host, and our guest is Jason Hummel. He's the principal actor of Colo Guadalupe musical 2022. Welcome back.
Thanks, Geraldine.
Jason. It's been great to hear about your story of how the theatre and how your music has helped you grow in faith in God.
Thank you, Geraldine.
And also the miracles that have happened.
Yes, yep.
So tell us when this musical is going to be.
So the musical of Colo Guadalupe is on the 24th of November to the 27th of November at the Chelsea Town Hall.
Fantastic. And not only do you act the principal role, you're assisting with directing.
Yes, along with you and Vance.
So far, have you enjoyed directing?
I have. I'm loving it. I enjoy seeing people flourish, you know. It's
drawing their gifts out.
Yeah, it's feels good. And it's a play that's close to my heart.
Yes. Yeah. And in the musical, what is the storyline?
So storyline really is about change in your life and choice. Diego is a Mexican man who chooses to believe in this God of the cross, you know, Jesus, and he's learning every day, and he's got a small family, and then he loses his wife, he loses everything really, and he really puts his faith and his trust in God, and then Mary comes and tells him to, you know, tell the bishop to build a church, and some miracles happen throughout the show, on the other side of it too is there's a character named Manuel. He wants a life of happiness and joy and peace as well, but he goes about it in the old ways, and about being angry, but when he gets shot in the eye with an arrow, a miracle happens, and he's able to see and change his way and choose to love. You know?
Yeah, that's good. Yeah. It's a very well described story.
Yeah.
And this musical consists of a lot of people, isn't it, to act in this show? Yes,
it does. There's a few people there, and you know, we're always looking for more. So yeah.
Yes, and can you say something about the costumes and props and?
Yeah, so the props are fantastic. Like they've got these horses with little LED lights that light up their eyes, and when the fog and the smoke is there, it looks really really cool. A really cool effect. You know, when you know, Mary appears on Diego's tilma, there's an effect there that's really, like, it's amazing. But the costumes are set back in the Aztec times, and yeah, they're really cool costumes. Yeah,
quite colourful.
Yeah, very colourful. Yeah.
Yeah, and I hear that you're acting with your family.
Yeah, so I've got Lucy and Elijah, my 2 children, will be in the chorus, and singing Mexico alongside me, one of the numbers, and I've got my mum and dad who are also in the chorus. Yeah.
Have any miracles happened in the musical?
Yeah, so I'd say it's a miracle, but one of the cast members was on their way to the theatre production and saw this man on the Westgate Bridge and just met him where he was at, you know, and spoke to him, and he was able to come down off the bridge and you know, safely come off that bridge. And so I believe that's a miracle in itself.
Yeah, he was going to jump off the car, wasn't he?
Yeah, and then there's been cast members who have had cancer and who are who've been in the show, and they got an inner strength from the Lord to go through the entire production, and you know, when we sing this song, "Make Us a Miracle," not only are we praying for a miracle for Manuel to wake up, but we're praying for things that are in our lives, you know, that we could be struggling with, and we're pleading for the Lord to make a miracle. So it makes it relatable and personal. Yeah.
Yes, I remember that there were a couple of women who couldn't have children, and when we were singing the song "Make Us a Miracle," we were praying that they would be able to have children, and they both got pregnant.
Yeah.
So it's quite incredible.
Yeah.
And I know even Father David, who's now a priest, who was the original Call of Guadalupe Diego, his sister was not able to have children, but she got pregnant and had a child.
Yeah, it's an amazing thing. Yeah.
Yeah. And with this show, are you all still looking for actors and people backstage?
Yeah, so we're looking for more people. We're always looking for more. But you know, if you're sound tech mind, you could come and help with the sound. If you're a lighting person, you can help with lighting. If you're a backstage person, you can help with props. You can come along and help, or even dialoguing. You know, if a cast member forgets the line.
Yeah, and it's also for people who have disabilities, this musical?
Yeah, so there's no
discrimination.
There's no discrimination or boundaries, you know. You know, we've had people come on with the song "Come to Me" in wheelchairs and things like that. And,
yeah, no, that's fantastic. And also, where will you hold the show?
So it's down at Chelsea Town Hall in Chelsea in November. Yeah.
Fantastic. So it's www.cogtheatre.org.
Yes, that's correct.
Thank you very much, and God bless you in that venture.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
You've been watching Spirit of Life. Join us next week. Goodbye, and God bless you.